Tonight, I'm doing my first explainer 3 drinks in. And I want to show you 2 amazing things. The first one is what you're seeing down there right now. It may look like an ordinary intersection, and indeed, it is. But in point of fact, it's actually genuinely remarkable. I want to talk about 2 things tonight. The first one is about traffic lights, and the second thing is about the state of nature and how we get out of it. Now, first, about traffic lights. Observe what's happening here, okay? People are stopping at the stoplight despite there being no people around. Now, imagine what would happen if that taxi cab decided to just take off right now and go. True answer is nothing. But he is so bought into the idea that this tiny little filament should dictate what he does that he stopped and waited for it to go before crossing. Now, it's not so dangerous for those people to be jaywalking there, but if that ton car decided that he wanted to take off and go, that would cause a real bad day for some pedestrian who wasn't otherwise expecting it. Now, what does this matter, and why am I talking about cars and things like this? Well, about 200 years ago, in the late 1700s, there were a few really important guys to get to know. One was a guy named Locke, and most Americans may not know his name, but would certainly recognize some of the things that he advocated, like life, liberty, and property, which became all men are endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights, among them life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You might have read that somewhere, such as the Declaration of Independence. Now, Locke had this idea that, we should all be after these things which make our lives better. But he immediately saw the contradiction in going after these things without any barriers in our way. Now, if, for instance, I was on that road out there and decided, as I would often do, that I needed to get somewhere faster, and I didn't really want to abide by that red light, well, that would increase my happiness. I would get to where I want to go faster, but driving a 1-ton vehicle, incidentally hitting a pedestrian, accidentally hitting a pedestrian, might greatly decrease both the life, liberty, and happiness, all 3, of that pedestrian. So, naturally, they said, look, you can have these rights right up until they smash into the right of somebody else to enjoy their own life, liberty, happiness, amongst other things. Now, there's another cat who's worth noting, and his name was Hobbes. He talked about life in the state of nature, and he talked about it being nasty, brutish, and short. And for some of us who've been on deployment here and there, my first deployment when I was 19 was to Haiti, and we gave some medical supplies to a gynecologist, and the day afterwards, when his sons were out, who were his local protection force, he naturally had the local mob boss stop by and decide that they were going to collect a tax from him, right? That is the state of nature that we found each other in. This thing I'm holding is the Marine Corps officer's sword, a Mamluk sword. It goes to all commissioned officers now. And really, it's a ceremonial decoration. Now, it's not sharp, nothing like that. But in the Middle Ages, if I was an aristocrat, I would probably have about a 14% chance of dying by getting this thing stabbed right through me because there was no higher authority to whom to appeal. Nobody who would protect my life, liberty, and property. So we all kind of collectively decided that, hey, there are certain barriers on the freedom that we have of living in this nasty, brutish, and short world. And some of those barriers were naturally in place to help protect us from each other. Some of those things as simple as, abiding by a traffic light. Sometimes something even simpler, like put up freaking cloth over your face. Have a nice night.